G'day, Tragic here, and welcome to What's Next. And that's basically what this video is going to be. We're just going to go through and have a vote on what we're going to play next. I used to do this all the time years ago. It was always fun, so I'm going to bring it back. So it's going to be the same rules as it was last time, as in you can vote for as many games as you want and put them in order, or you can vote for one game. If you vote for I don't care, play any, or if you vote for nothing, then obviously it doesn't count. So for your vote to be counted, you need to vote at least once or put it in order. And you don't have to put the whole thing in order, just as many as you want. And that's basically the rules. I'll also have a link in the description, which will go to Tube Tables, my Board Game Geek guild, and I'll have a vote there. I want to try and drum up some more. That's a very inactive guild. I want to try and get that active again. So let's have a quick look at the games, shall we? We have Cora. Now, we all know this game. Forget about the Under the Pyramids bit. That's just because this is a box. I collect board games. I don't collect boxes. I actually throw out boxes if I'm not using them. So I have mismatched boxes. Whatever. Point is Cora. Now, when I was packing up Cora after my last play, I found a huge error where I was using multiple tokens because I was accidentally given two punch boards, like two sets of punch boards in my core set, which means I had double the gates, double the monsters, double the clues. And this could very well completely skew my entire gameplay experience with this game by changing the difficulty of how the map was designed to function. So pretty interesting because it's designed that everything's unique, right? So you get sent all over the place while I was getting big clumping where it was very easy to trade. And I think it was a knock-on effect. Point is, Cora, I'm going to play that a couple more times. So it's on the list for the channel if you want to see me play it again, this time with the correct components, because I've gone through and taken out all the doubles, all the ones that shouldn't be there. So the second game we have on offer is Now or Never by Ryan Lucat. Now, Ryan Lucat is a fantastic designer. I actually was introduced to him with his very first game design, which was Empires of the Void, or the first game design that was published, as far as I know. And it was a fantastic game. It showed a lot of promise, but it had some issues, that first-time designer kind of issue where they put in a little too much and it's a bit clunky or whatever. But he has just nailed it over the years. I mean, his Empires of the Void 2 is just fantastic. I've got that as well. He's got 3 games in this series, so there's Above and Below and Near and Far, which I have Near and Far and played that quite a lot. It is fantastic. So, I mean, this guy is a high-level thematic game designer. And Now or Never is no different. So Now or Never takes place in the same world as Above and Below and Near and Far. And this time we've sort of constructed our village and we have to improve our village, but also we have to send surgeons into the mountains to find other survivors and stuff. And it doesn't really make sense. There's a lot of lore that I need to go through to get this out and make sense to people. And that's one of the great things about this game. It's like reading a book, except you play a game. The downsides of this game are 2. 1, I've never played it before, so this would be a blind playthrough. So you'd be seeing it the same time I'm seeing it. This could mean errors, more than usual for my channel, actually. And because it's a fairly new game, I might not be able to get corrections. The other thing is that this version of the game is long. It is quite long. It's about the same kind of length as a long Cora game, so it's a bit of a time investment to get through. On the plus side, it actually has a true solo mode. Basically, there's true solo and then there's handed. I usually play handed, okay? So what I call handed is like 2-handed, 3-handed, 4-handed. That's when you play one player playing multiple characters. Like in Cora, you play with 4, you're playing 4-handed. So true solo is when you just play with one hand. So a true solo version of Cora, you'd use one investigator. Now or Never actually has rules, a separate rule modification for true solo. Now, I'm not sure whether I will play true solo or not. I haven't decided. You can put your thoughts into the comments. I usually still prefer to play handed because I think you get better dynamics. In my experience, unless the game is physically designed to be a solo game only, the solo modes never really cut it for me. Anyway, so that's Now or Never. Fantastic little game. that I have not played. The next one is Legends of the Drift System, Zaya. Now, this is by Far Off Games. I've actually got a really awesome Kickstarter of them in the process coming as well, which is like a fantasy version of Zaya, basically, I suppose. It just looks awesome. Now, this is another first-time designer, has another first-time designer issues, as in it's a little clunky, but it's also free of all the standardization that really professional designers have. I mean, it's a very unique game. It's got awesome stuff going on, and I'll probably play this I'll probably play this three-handed if we choose this. I've got the expansion, which is a must-have for this, and I actually have the next expansion on order because it was available when I got the Kickstarter for his other game, his new game. Anyway, so that's Zaya, Legends of the Drift System. It is, in essence, a pick up and deliver space game. So it's like Merchant of Venus, but like on steroids. Excellent game. Next, we have Ancient Terrible Things, which is an awesome little die roller that I think is super underrated. It came and went and never really got much traction, but I think it's awesome. It's by Pleasant Company. They've done a few other games, some of them good, they're okay, but I really like Ancient Terrible Things. It's super simple. Throw a bunch of dice, get some cards, have a great time. Excellent game. And I've played that on the channel before, if you want to look up what I'm talking about. Next one, we have Swords and Sorcery. Now, some of you might know that I'm a big fan of Galaxy Defenders, which is by the same people. And this is like their fantasy version of Galaxy Defenders that has a lot of upgrades. Like, for example, they got rid of permadeath, for example, because in Galaxy Defenders, you could die in the beginning of the campaign and basically be out. I have actually never played my copy of Sword of Sorcery. It's just one of those games that I bought, I loved, I really wanted to play, and it just never got to the table. Don't know why. I just never played it. I feel silly about it because it was an expensive Kickstarter. I went all in because I loved Galaxy Defenders so much. But it's one of those games, kind of like Elder Cora. When I was sort of thinking about playing it, I'd always end up playing Galaxy Defenders again. Anyway, so Sword and Sorcery, another great thematic sort of dungeon hex-crawling combat RPG-ish kind of game. And it's sort of like the antithesis of Now or Never. So Now or Never and Sword and Sorcery are similar in some ways, except Now or Never is a Eurocentric, and Sword and Sorcery is kind of Ameritrash. They're both trying to replicate the RPG experience on a board game. And finally, we have probably one of my favorite games of all time, Mage Knight. This game is chef's kiss. Oh my. This game is so good. I play this all the time. It's just a fantastic, fantastic game. I have not played with a physical game in a long time. I usually play it on Tabletop Simulator in the mod I wrote. And I mean, this game is just fantastic. Now, I have all the expansions and I've even got some home custom printed out heroes. But the truth is, I really kind of just play the base scenarios. I'm not a huge fan of the Volcaire scenarios. I mean, they're cool. I actually prefer the Elementalist, with the big blue and the big red, elemental creature thing. I actually prefer that to Volcaire. I don't know why. I mean, everyone says I'm crazy for that, but whatever. The point is, I'm going to play Mage Knight. And if you have a scenario that you wish me to play as well, then let me know. I'll either play Conquest or I'll play Druid Knights, or that Tunnels one is awesome, where it's like you got every single, there's like heaps and heaps and heaps of tombs, and you can, it's awesome. It's just oh man, the game is fantastic. So these are the games. So you can vote for these. Now we have Elder Cora, Zaya, Legends of the Drift System, Now or Never, Ancient Terrible Things, Sword and Sorcery, and Mage Knight. But there is a secret game that nobody will know. I won't tell you. And it's not Lord of the Rings. Okay, I'm still going to do my Lord of the Rings games. That's sort of like going to be the filler. But yeah, so there's a secret game, and I will play that game if there's a tie. And you can vote for the secret game if you want by just voting for secret. And that's basically it. So if you vote for any one of these, or you can vote for secret and you can put them in order. And I'll bring out the secret game if it wins. And that's that. And I will see you guys next time.